Hello, my name is Robert Chacon, and today is January 20th, 2018, and today I'll be discussing the four different types of tissues within the body. The different types of tissues are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. So we're going to start off with the first type of tissue, which is epithelial tissue. There are two kinds of this type of tissue within our bodies. The first type is covering and lining epithelium, which is present in the outmost layer of the skin. This type also lines the open cavities of the respiratory and digestive system. It even covers the walls of organs that are in the closed ventral body cavity. The second type of epithelial tissue is glandular epithelium, which covers the glands that are within the body. This type of tissue is classified by two names. The first indicates the number of cell layers, the second describes the shape of the cell. The first type of epithelium that is determined by the number of layers can either be simple or stratified. Simple consists of a single layer which can be found where absorption, secretion, and filtration occur. Stratified is composed of two or more cell layers stacked on top of each other, and these are found in high abrasion areas where protection isn't mostly needed, for example, the outmost layer of the skin. Going back to the second type of epithelium, which describes the shape of the cell, we can determine them as either squamous, which are flat and they have a structure similar to scales, columnar, which are tall and are in a column formation, and cuboidal, which are box-shaped, and cubical, meaning they have the same height and width. The next type of tissue I will talk about is connective tissue. This tissue provides support for internal tissues and organs. It can be characterized through its excessive extracellular matrix that is made of water, proteoglycans, and protein fibers. Connective tissue is considered thick when stationary and mobile when it flows throughout the body. The function of this tissue is to support and connect other tissue, like the sheath that covers muscle cells, the tendons that connect muscles to the bone, and the skeleton that supports the position of the body. There are several different types of connective tissue, and they are loose connective tissue, which is an elastic type of tissue that lies underneath the skin and surrounds small glands. Dense connective tissue, which are elastic, strong tissues like the tendons and ligaments that cover muscles and bones. There's also adipose tissue, which is mostly made of fat cells that is in a liquid state that occupies the most cell volume. And there's also blood, which is a mobile kind of connective tissue that has an extensive extracellular matrix called plasma. Lastly, there are supporting connective tissue, which are the cartilage and bones within our body. The third type of tissue that I will discuss is muscle tissue. This tissue carries properties that allow movement to occur. This tissue is an excitable type of tissue that responds to stimulus. Muscle tissue is contractile, which means it can shorten and generate a pulling force. When muscle is between the bones, they can contract, causing bones to move. Muscles can move either voluntarily, meaning that you control the body movements, and also involuntarily means that there's no conscious control, like when the pupils contract in light. There are three types of muscle tissue. They are skeletal muscle, which allows voluntary movement, produce heat, and protects organs. This is attached to our bones and around entrance points of the body, for example, your mouth. The next type is cardiac muscle, which contracts and pumps blood for the body. This is also known as the heart. The last type is smooth muscle, which is in charge of involuntary movements like moving food through the body, control of respiration, moves secretions like bowel movements, and regulates the flow of blood in our arteries through contraction. This type of muscle is located in the walls of certain organs like the esophagus, the stomach, and the large and small intestines. The final tissue that I will be discussing is nervous tissue. Much like muscle tissue, nervous tissue is excitable and responds to stimulus. This tissue is used to send and receive electrochemical signals that give information throughout the body. There are two main classes of cells that are within nervous tissue. The first being neurons, and the second being neuroglias. Neurons propagate information through electrochemical impulses called action potentials that are biochemically linked to the release of chemical signals. Neuroglia support the neurons and modulate their info through information propagation. This concludes the 4 different types of tissue within our body. Thank you.